Hey guys, Ben Dorr here, Executive Director with Minnesota Gun Rights, and I've got a really cool update for everybody. I've got some good news, and boy, did we get a peek behind the curtain today. Tune in, let me know where you are watching from, share this video right away so everybody knows what happened here today, and get on board with us. I got good news, and boy, was Senator Ron Latz furious. I've watched this guy try to advance his gun control bills for the last 5 years. I've seen all of his committee testimonies. We've been involved in all this stuff. For years and years, he has sat there and tried to pass his gun control bills, and I have never, in all my days, seen Senator Ron Latz so ticked off at gun owners as he was today. Furious. I've never seen him so angry. Guys, share this video right away. Get the watch parties rocking and rolling. I'm going to give you this update. So here's what happened. The short story is that both the A4 amendment, red flag gun seizures, and the A2 amendment, which is universal background checks, both of those amendments just died in the Senate Judiciary Committee, okay? No gun control got passed through the Senate Judiciary Committee so far today. Now they have a bunch of bills they're going to go through yet. They're still working on a bunch of crap in there. Garbage bills that don't do anything for us and anything for gun owners. But here's the thing. Senator Latz gets up there and he is outraged. And he goes, if anybody tells you that this bill is a gun registration bill, they are lying to you. They are lying to you to advance their agenda, and they're trying to galvanize their people, and this is not a gun registration bill. He was outraged that you guys, and that we call this a universal gun registration bill. Again, a lot of people hopped on the last couple seconds here. Both of the gun control amendments died in the Senate Judiciary Committee just now. But here's the thing. So Ron Latz, now this is very important to notice. These are the games that are played up here. A full-blown trick play that Ron Latz had planned out weeks ago, right? So last year, when Ron Latz thought that he was going to get his gun registration bill passed, right? You remember, the 2018 elections happened, we lost the House, and now was the time for their gun control, right? That was the time in which Ron Latz thought, I'm gonna get it done, right? So what did he do? He introduced a universal gun registration bill that said every single firearm and transfer needs to go through a background check, which we say creates a de facto gun registry, because they keep records of all those background checks, right? Well, here's the thing. The bill that he introduced last year, there were no exceptions in there for family members or anything like that. There were no exceptions. This is like a full-blown gun registration bill. And we said, oh my gosh, Ron Latz knows that he can probably get this gun control passed in 2019, right? So that was last year's bill. And what happened? We killed it, right? We stopped all the gun control. We forced Senate Republicans to stop red flags and universal gun registration last year. But here's the thing. So we fast forward now to 2020. Ron Latz is going with the exact same red flag bill that he had last year, but he introduced a new universal background checks, a new universal gun registration bill for this year. And this bill has exceptions in it. It has carve-outs in it for family and things, right? So Ron Latz gets up there and goes, this is a very good bill. This is a family-friendly bill that allows for, you can transfer firearms to your wife, to your spouse, to family members and things without going through a background check. So this is a very common sense, moderate bill. And anybody who tells you that this is gun registration is lying to you, because we've got all these carve-outs in it. That's the thing. Last year, when he thought he could get it passed, there were no carve-outs in the bill, right? This year, when he knows that he's in big trouble and that he's really struggling to get the bill to pass, what does he do? What does he do? He goes and introduces one with some carve-outs. So we know what would happen. We know what would happen if he actually thought he was going to get the bill passed, if he could get it done. We know what would happen. The moment this bill made it onto the Senate floor, he would immediately amend his own bill and remove all of those carve-outs. You understand that? That is how this game is played. He introduced a bill that wasn't quite as bad as last year's bill, just so that he could sit in that committee today and say, this was a good amendment. This was not a bad one. It's got carve-outs for family and things. He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose. If Ron Latz thought that he was going to get these bills passed today, if these bills were going to go on to the Senate floor and he was going to get a vote on them, he would immediately amend his own bill, strip out the good portion, right, and put in the bad language. That is how the game is played in state capitals all across America. We've seen it 100 times. So today, when he's sitting there going, this is not gun owner registration, and the groups like Minnesota Gun Rights, he didn't name us, of course, he's too smart for that, but we know exactly who he's talking about, because Ron Latz received 550 emails himself. Just today, since 6 p.m. last night, he received over 500 emails opposing gun control from our members. So yeah, he's feeling a little bit ticked off right now at gun owners. He sat there and said, gun owners have been rude to me, and they have been downright disrespectful. Sorry, Ronnie, but you don't get any respect if you don't earn it. And the politicians who sit here and attack our gun rights, well, you get no respect. You're a tyrant. We didn't show King George any respect either. No, we freaking killed his armies and sent him back overseas where he belongs. That's what we did. We won a nation from people who act like you, Ron. Respect? We're being rude? If we're not being rude, we're not fighting for our freedoms. It's as simple as that. But today was a victory for gun owners. Today was a victory, and Ron Latz is sitting in there gnashing his teeth. He is furious. Oh yeah, and he also said that gun owners were threatening him. We've heard that from so many politicians. It's unbelievable. Here's an idea. Stop trying to annihilate our freedoms. How about that? Is that so hard? Apparently. But I'll tell you this. I got a certain level of respect for somebody like Ron Latz. He's a piece of crap. He's a piece of garbage. But man, that guy fights like a junkyard dog to get his gun control passed. I was talking with some gun owners in there, and they said, man, is it just me? Or does Ron Latz fight way harder for his gun control than the Republicans are fighting to pass pro-gun bills? I said, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because it was Senate Judiciary Chairman Warren Limmer in there just a few minutes ago. He called Stand Your Ground and constitutional carry laws. He said they were fringe bills and extreme. And Senate Republicans would not be touching Stand Your Ground or constitutional carry because they are fringe bills and extreme. I think that's a big old load of crap, especially coming from Republicans. Stand Your Ground law is law in 36 states. It should be law in Minnesota. And of course, Warren Limmer hates the idea of constitutional carry. First of all, he voted against it on April 23, I believe it was, 2015. So he's already a great big hater. And that's the thing. If they passed constitutional carry, well, that would be $30 million that they don't get because they tax us, they fine us, they make us pay fees to the tune of $30 million to get a permit. Nah, forget that. Pass constitutional carry and stand your ground. I wish one of those Republicans in there would fight half so hard for our pro-gun bills as Senator Ron Latz fights for their gun control. But today we're going to take the victory we won, and we won this today. Minnesota gun rights members have been bombarding. Again, the last I checked on the emails this morning, Minnesota gun rights members sent over 5,000 emails since 6 p.m. last night. Big. Those are big numbers. Those are huge numbers. That's less than 24 hours time. Last year, Moms Demand Action sent out an email at the end of the legislative session saying, "Thank you to all of our activists. We sent in 8,700 emails in support of common sense gun laws during the 2019 session." In an entire 5-month period, they sent 8,700 emails. In 5 months, 8,700 emails. Minnesota gun rights members sent over 5,000 in about 18 hours. So this is fantastic news, guys. This is a big win today. Ron Latz is in there stewing and storming and furious and pissed off. Most of the rhinos, they're angry at us too. They're still shouting, "You're scammers, you're scammers," everywhere we go. Let them shout and squawk and yell. Minnesota gun rights members are dominating this discussion in St. Paul. We are annihilating these gun control bills. We are going to fight to move stand your ground and constitutional carry, and none of these people can stop us. If they try, we will come after them at election time. We will target them. We will expose them, and gun owners, well, they're going to get their pound of flesh. They're going to pay a price. There will be political bodies after the election season is over. Politicians who are currently here right now will not be here in 2021 if these people tread on our Second Amendment freedoms. So this is great. Thank you very much. Again, guys, for those of you just tuning in, both the red flag gun seizure amendment and the universal background checks amendment died just now in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Again, there's all kinds of ways that they can do this again. There's all kinds of ways for Ron Latz to try to amend more bills. We're certain that he's going to try to amend these gun control proposals on the Senate floor to some of these omnibus bills that are going to be coming up. There's all kinds of ways in which they are going to continue trying to advance their gun control agenda, and we are going to be here every step of the way, making sure that nothing gets passed and that the interests of gun owners are the first thing in all these people's minds in this building here. I'm telling you, nobody in St. Paul can even think about Second Amendment rights, can even think about firearms or shooting or anything else. None of them can even think about these topics without thinking of Minnesota gun rights members and supporters. And there's a bunch of politicians once, I swear, it's like if the politicians would just come out of that building to snap their pictures of me, I'd pose for them, but they're always hiding behind the glass over there, and they walk up and they stick their camera up there and they like snap a picture of scary Ben Dorr shooting his video outside. I don't know. Bunch of goobers? Goobers, that's what they are. Minnesota gun rights members, we are winners. We are winners, and they hate us for it. But that's politics. Look at the way the politicians, look at the way the radical left hates President Trump. That only happens when you fight for what you want. If you're just coming up here to kiss these people's butts and thank them and grovel and wallow on the ground like a little worm, if you're coming up there, come on, just come on out and take your pictures. I swear. And then they all, I don't know, it's a little distracting. It's like They all like to, it's like when I look at them, then they all turn away real quick like, oh, I wasn't taking a picture of you just now. I mean, it's embarrassing. These guys are like twice my age. Come out here and get your picture if that's what you want. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just get distracted. They're like lining up the walls. But that's what happens. If you don't fight for what you want, if people don't hate you, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. It means you're not fighting hard enough. Because if you were fighting very hard, you know what these people would do? Well, they would do what they're doing to Minnesota gun rights right now. They're creating websites calling us scammers. They're attacking our members online. They're blocking MGR members on their Facebook pages. They're doing everything they can do to bring us down. That's what happens when you become a thorn in their side and you say, we are not letting up the pressure until you acquiesce and pass our pro-gun bills. That's what happens. If I came up here, if Minnesota gun rights members came up here and just like were dozing in the corners of these committee rooms, drooling all the time, they would have no reason to care about us at all. They would have no reason to fear Minnesota gun rights members at all. But they do. They do, because our tactics are phenomenal. Our strategy is top tier. Our members are fighters. They're unapologetic. You guys are incredible. I've watched you light into these politicians. And up here, they're uncomfortable now. Now they feel like they're walking on eggshells. Now they're walking on thin ice. They're going, my gosh, if we don't do what these guys want, they're gonna freaking screw us, and they're gonna come after us, and oh man, I got all these gun owners on my Facebook page right now, and they're telling me I'm a piece of crap politician. We gotta do something, That is what happens in the caucus rooms. In those rooms in there, when those politicians meet in private, away from all the cameras, away from the lights, away from the media, away from the public, that is when they freak out together. They freak out about Minnesota gun rights, about our supporters, and about how much power the grassroots in Minnesota has now that we didn't have 5 years ago. We've got it now. And that is the only reason that in a state that is so far left as Minnesota is, that's the only reason our gun rights are still intact here in the state of Minnesota. It's the only reason we haven't turned into Virginia, because we are fighting like hell to protect our gun rights. And today, a small victory, but a victory nonetheless, was won in the Minnesota Senate Judiciary Committee, much to the rage of politicians and organizations everywhere. We took their red flag amendment, we took their universal gun registration amendment, and we shoved it down their throats. Shoved it down their throats. People go, ooh, that's a rough analogy. It's like, look, this is political war. This is political war. People like Ron Latz are in there, like we just talked about. He's introducing different types of bills with different types of language. He is playing his game as good as he possibly can, trying to destroy our freedoms. If we don't take this seriously, if we don't fight, they're going to win. And there's nothing nice about it. There's nothing nice about it. I mean, it's our freedom on the line. These people would annihilate, oh my goodness. I mean, they would just annihilate our freedom if they could get away with it. 1 minute ago in there's Ron Latz trying to tell this entire committee and everybody watching, he goes, look, nearly 300 people are being killed every year in Minnesota because of the epidemic of gun violence. Nearly one a day, he says. So less than one person a day is being killed with a gun in Minnesota. And that is a gun violence epidemic. Meanwhile, 29 babies a day are aborted in Minnesota. More than 1 an hour. But today is what do they call that? Abortion Providers Appreciation Day in St. Paul. Abortion Providers Appreciation Day. So when less than one person a day gets shot with a gun, that's an absolute travesty that requires a total annihilation of our Second Amendment freedoms. But when 29 babies a day get aborted in Minnesota, well, that's just a woman's right to choose. That's just healthcare. That's just healthcare. In fact, we're going to dedicate an entire day to Abortion Providers Appreciation. It's appalling. It's appalling. These people have no ethics. They have no morals. They have no scruples whatsoever. They will tread on our freedoms. They will annihilate our rights. They will take our guns. They will tax us to death. They will crush us with regulations if they can get away with it. But they didn't get away with it today. They didn't get away with it today. So guys, if you're not a member of Minnesota Gun Rights, go to joinmgr.com. Become a member today. Become a member of Minnesota Gun Rights today. If you are already, consider making a contribution. Help us keep up the heat. Go to donate to MGR.com. Donate to MGR.com. Make a contribution today. We're winning this battle right now to stop gun control. It's time to start moving pro-gun bills and force anti-gunners to stop them. We need to pass Stand Your Ground law and force these politicians to oppose it or support it. If they support it, great. If they oppose it, we're coming after them at election time. That's what we got to do here so we can continue to move forward, especially with the upcoming elections with President Trump on top of the ticket. So guys, I thought I heard something there. Do me a favor, share this video, share with your family and your friends. Get it out there, let everybody know that today Minnesota Gun Rights members and supporters won this battle. More is coming tomorrow. There's always something more, but that's okay. We got energy for days. We got members for days. We're gonna keep fighting this fight. But for now, that was a good victory. It was a good victory. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it, but in less than a day, less than 1 day, our members sent 550 emails to each member of the committee. 550 emails each. That is huge numbers. Huge numbers. Nobody else is even coming close to that on either side. On either side. So this was big. Do me a favor, share this video. Again, join up, become a member of Minnesota Gun Rights today. I'm glad that today Ron Lance's little trick play did not work. Sorry, buddy, but it's actually gun registration. It's universal gun registration. You can say whatever you want about it. You can try to pretend that it's not what it is, Ron. I mean, he was furious in there. I've never seen him so angry. Just rah, 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 rah. Oh, man. Just raging about Minnesota gun rights. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Well, if we aren't pissing off a bunch of radical anti-gunners, what are we even doing here? I say that's a huge success. So thank you, Ron, for giving us the shout out that you did in there. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep fighting tooth and nail, guys, for our rights, for our freedoms, for our posterity, for our future. We're never going to back down because we are right. We got right on our side. Freedom, personal responsibility, the rights of the individual, American greatness. These are things that are on our side. They are things that we possess. Okay? Protecting our loved ones, our families, our friends. Having the resources to help our neighbors and take care of our communities. These are good things. And these are values that we all share. But in this place, in these buildings, they're filled with the worst of humankind, the worst of humanity congregate here to strip you of all of those things that we love, to strip you of those freedoms, to take away those rights, to annihilate our beautiful way of life. And we have a beautiful way of life. The Minnesota traditions that we have, the American traditions that we have. I don't want to see America turn into Venezuela. I don't want to see it turn into China. I don't want to see America turn into one of these socialist, communist countries. I want to see America become beautiful, bigger and brighter and more beautiful than she's ever been before. And that is what we fight for here. It's that. We just do it in the gun rights vein. But we're here to fight for freedom. We're here to fight for our liberties and stop these politicians from destroying all that we love. And today, we had a victory. We had a nice little victory. We like it. We're grateful to all of you for it. On behalf of the board of directors, thank you for this today. Again, more to come tomorrow, more fights, more battles ahead, but we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna go away. And these people can shout and yell and scream and do whatever they wanna do to try to make Minnesota gun rights look bad, but the people are with us. We are with you. And together, we are the largest, most unapologetic, nasty gun rights organization that Minnesota ever saw. And we'll continue to be that for many, many, many years to come. So guys, again, share this video. Thank you very much for listening to this update. Get it out there. Make sure everybody knows what's happening. Get on board if you're not already. Become a member. Get yourself a t-shirt. If you're new at $75 or above, we'll get you one of our Arms Evolve, The Rights Remain the Same t-shirts that are brand new ones. We'll get those out to you right away. Join up, sign up, get your family and friends on board. We're going to continue fighting for you in St. Paul, and I'll have more live updates for you likely tomorrow, and we'll talk soon. Take care.